Hi everyone, I'm Pamela Deason, Product Marketing Manager for Broadcom's App Dev products. Welcome to another best practices video that we have created for you on how to use our Agile Requirements Designer ARD product along with AI to create a model that then generates Gherkin code and the associated glue code. All of this using our Test Data Manager product and the real data that comes from that. And here today to help us understand this is Sachin Srivastava, the solution architect for the Broadcom App Dev products. So thank you, Satya, and over to you now.
Thanks, Pam. So today I'm going to be talking about Broadcom's Agile Requirement Designer new capability with creating flows using AI and now generating the Gherkin code and the associated glue code with it. And apart from that, we're going to talk about other automation capabilities. So let's get started. I'm going to talk about how we can leverage um, ARD to first generate a model using AI. And after generating the model, we can leverage ARD to assign test data using a find and reserve model that is available on TDM site. The agenda of the meeting is to show how we can leverage the find and reserve model. So let's say if I have a credit card application project here, and I've created two models here. So find and reserve is a capability of TDM where you can find data which is available in your database. As simple as that, right? So we go ahead and create a find and reserve model, and we have assigned like a few first name, last name, and everything. And in that scenario, I have got some data in my database. Similarly, there is a personal information coming from this, and then I have created another find and reserve where it is coming once the data is available. I'm putting a credit card application in my model, and once the information that I have provided everywhere, I would approve or get denied my application, and once approved or denied, I would get a credit card number generated. So that credit card number is actually fetched from our database itself. So I'm using two find and reserve model, one which has my data, and a second which has the credit card application and credit card generated based on Amex, Visa, MasterCard, and Discover, and all of that. So this is how I'm going to generate it. So first thing that you have to do is assign the find and reserve model. So you just click on the plus sign. It will automatically take you to the server where TDM lies. And you select model where you can select the credit card and the both the registration. So one data which is having the first name, last name, all the information. The second is DB data where credit card numbers are stored. First, I have to leverage the data that is coming for the personal information. So there is a set format that I need to use in order to generate the data, which is fetch the data directly from the find and reserve model. So the format that I need to use it is like this. So in my model, I just have to copy this information here and show you. Right. So this is the format that I need to use. So I would give this information saying that for first name and last name that is available in this model where all of these test data variables are used. Use the attribute name as, let's say, for email ID, the attribute name is email ID, but the registration name is FNRCC. And I'll just click on send here. So what it will do is it will understand that there are all the different variables or test data variables that I have registered I've used in the model, and it will automatically assign an attribute name if the attribute name is available in my find and reserve model. So it has the capability to read through the find and reserve FNR model that I have. And now, as you can see here, all of these values are assigned. So all of these values are directly fetched from my find and reserve model. So the next thing that I have to do is I'll do the same thing for credit card number, right? So here, as you can see, it is assigned a credit card number and all of that, but I just want my credit card number to be reflecting what is available, the final reserve model that is available to me. So I'll copy the credit card name here. So I will say do the similar update for credit card number, expiry, month, expiry, year, and use credit card. So the format should be let's say my credit card number is credit, yeah, card number, right? I'll just send this. So now, well, data is fetched from my Pioneer model, which is fetching me the data, which is the username information, the email IDs, SSN, and all of that. And once my model goes through and approves a particular credit card information, then it automatically pulls the data from the Pioneer model of my credit card. Now, the next step that I have to show you is I have to generate those test cases. So I'll just quickly generate those tests and save, because my end goal is to show you how the data looks like. So this data now can not only be leveraged to show in terms of like data in the CSV format, but this can leverage to be used in like a generation of like a Gherkin code or any other feature that is required. So here one of the like comma is incorrect. So quickly gonna fix it. And credit limit. So here, let's see. Yes, there it is. So I have created a few logic based on values that is fetched from my final reserve model. And based on that, my first goal is to generate those test data, right? So my first goal would be to have a test data where all these attributes are fetched from a final reserve model. Now, I want to leverage this data, which is fetched by my final reserve model, to generate uh, a Gherkin code or like a request response pair. Or if I want to leverage it to generate a Java code, I can do that too, right? So let's say my first goal is to generate like a Gherkin code. So what I'll do is I'll create a new configuration file. So let's quickly create one. Unload. Yes. Click on path and say remove. And this one is going to be layer detail as Gherkin. And add layer. Another layer is for request. And objects. Let me remove these. I'm just adding a layer because I want to have individual layer for my request and response pair. So that is what I'm doing it, because I want to make the demo more linear and understandable, that this layer was generating Selenium, this layer was generating a Gherkin code, and then there were layers that were generating glue code. So when you are generating Selenium, there is an option when you're working with Gherkin, you need to generate the glue code to associate it to it. So I'm just adding a layer for glue code. Right. So now I need to give um, an example here. Let me save as local as AI underscore config and save and close. Right. So now it's leveraging and it has empty automation. As you can see, it has empty things. So first thing that I have to do is attach a Gherkin file, because I need to have a sample Gherkin file ready to me. So I need to open this feature file, which is having an example that this is how my feature file should look like, right? So I give that as an attachment and say attached is my Gherkin code, generate something similar. And I would now suggest, because I don't have any object added, so I'm just going to say that generate as a free form and and just generate it. So now my model is having test data. Test data is fetched directly from a find and reserve model in TDM, and not that to two different models. And now I'm generating a Gherkin code for that. So once my Gherkin code is generated, my goal is not finished. My goal is to have a glue code. So why I am setting up goals is that I don't have to go anywhere to fetch this data. All the data is available to me at my ARD level itself. If I have to generate Gherkin code, I'll tell ARD AI integration that generate me the Gherkin code. Now I want to generate my glue code. I would say the same, that generate my glue code, that will do that. Now I want to generate a request for response pair. This is how my sample looks like. It would do that. So I don't have to go anywhere to keep on generating this data, right? So that is what I've that is the thing that is important to me, that I just have to work on my workstation and it will be able to map and create the data that I need, right? So if I go and see my path here, just for the Gherkin code, I would be able to see. So if I go ahead and say individual, so it is using, and I can generate the Gherkin code in whatsoever format that I request, right? So here, it can generate in any format that you want. Like it's probably simpler if I ask my Gherkin to generate me in different format. So let's say if I go ahead and ask my Gherkin code on full screen. So I want my data to be generated like this, right? So can you generate the Gherkin code in the below format? Because I forgot to give the format that I need. I just gave an example, but I need a more descriptive uh, Gherkin file created. So just I told my AI chatbot that this is not something which I want. I want something else. So it will automatically generate me that, right? Similarly, now my next goal is to use like a Selenium testing. So this is a sample Selenium code that I have written. This is a very basic bank account creating test Java. It just has an information like how my code structure to look like. This is how my import statement. These are like my common methods that I'll use. So I just want to attach them, right? So um, when I go back to my export and check again, it would have created like this. So this is something which I need. right? This is the format that I requested, and this is the format that I got. This is mostly like the format that most of the customers that I'm working with uses. Now I want to generate the glue code for it, right? So using the Gherkin logic, can you also generate the glue code that interprets the feature file? So basically, what I'm telling it is that this is my feature file, um, and this is the sample that I just showed, right? This is how my feature file looks like. So that I just have to give the glue code sample so that it will understand that this is how they have to write the glue code around it. So basically, I can generate anything. As of now, I've generated a Gherkin. Now I'm generating like a glue code associated with the Gherkin file. Next up is I have to generate a request response pair. So I'll go ahead and copy the request here. So copy this. And once it is generated, I'm just going to quickly add the automation layer for request and response. I ask the customer to keep it simple because it otherwise it will take a lot of rework. I don't want the rework. So I want crisp, detailed information given to AI, and it gives me a perfect answer that mostly meets my need. And if there is anything missing, then it would definitely add it. Right now is the time to add my request sample request generate something similar and send. So not only it is generating the glue code, now it is generating the request. The next step is the response because I want to generate everything and I can show how my request response looks like and quickly generate those so that I can export and create a virtual service out of it. So I don't have to go anywhere. Again, in order to do all of these things, I don't have to go anywhere. It's everything is available here. If I have to create a virtual service, I'm gonna do similar for response. So I don't have to create a virtual service by exporting it into a zip file and then creating virtual service. No, everything can be done from my ERD workstation itself. That if I have to put it into a Rally, Jira's, X-rays of the world, I can do that. If I have to export it into SV or TDM, I can do that. So there is all that link that is already available where you have to create or update a virtual service. When you're creating a virtual service, we can do that using a request response pair, which I'm going to show. So now going back to the path again. So individual code, let's say if now I want to see my request, this is how my response look like, individual response and request. This is how my request looks like. Similar data that's been available to me. Everything is fetched, I think, from the binary reserve code, and then there's a glue code. So glue code is available to consume this given statements and all of that, right? So this is like something which it understood that this is how the glue code should look like. And then there's my Gherkin file. Now I want to export everything. Like at first I want to export the request response pair. So I would do an export of request response to my service virtualization environment. So HTTP 10.252.197.86 is my server name. Admin. So here, let's open the server or here also HTTP 10.252.197.86. So this is my dev test portal. I should have opened it here, but it's okay. So I go to monitor virtual service, right? So there would not be a virtual service deployed. So what I'll do is I'll select the automation layer and saying that this is my response and this is how my request looks like, and then create a new service. I can even update, but it says that there's already a virtual service available. And I'll say credit card find and reserve underscore um, virtual service. And then I can assign a port number. I just want to make sure that, okay, so this should be 40,002 and nothing else. So request and response, and I click on save. So once I click on save, I go and look at the notification, and now I can see that the virtual service is created. So if I go here and click on refresh, I can see it that the virtual service is created and everything works fine. And I can consume it using APIs now. So I want to see what my request transport, how it was imported. So I download the MAR file and go back to project and upload the MAR. Yeah, so that I want to see how my request response looks like. So it's uploaded and manage virtual service. Change it to credit card. So this is how my request and response look like. So it will have all this information that was passed on. So every single visa is approved, master credit card number is there, expiry is there. So all of this information is available, right? And the request ID and all of that. So even it has details like city numbers and all the information that we need is available to me. The first name, last name, SSNs, and all of that. So this is like creating a full AI driven virtual service where I got a requirement, I converted that into model. Now I created a final reserve model and leveraged that final reserve model, which is fetching the data directly from the database, and created a model and assign the test data to that model. Now the next thing is I generated the request response, glue code, and Gherkin file for it. And finally, I exported and created a virtual service. So this is how I'm going to leverage ARD for almost everything, right? We don't have to worry about data coming from like random sources. We have legit data coming from legit masked databases, and that can be leveraged as part of my final reserve feature to be used in my model, and can be used to generate any code, be it Python, be it Gherkin, be it Selenium. If you have examples available, it would be much closer, because I want the code to which is generated to be much closer to what the expected code looks like. So that's why I keep on attaching the code, and it will generate you the random code. But I want to have specific code generated. That is why I attach sample code as well. And there is no limitation on the type of file that you can attach or the number of files you can attach. So you can have multiple Gherkin files, multiple Java code also assigned, so that it will understand how your logic looks like and generate you the model out of it. So that is how quickly we can leverage AI on a workstation to not only generate data. We can generate synthetic data too, but we can generate real data fetched from database, and then can be leveraged to create any output of the format that we want.
Thank you, Sachin, for sharing that great information. And I'm sure we'll hear from you again. And thanks everyone for joining. Have a great day.